Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be talking about Masters of the Universe Revelation. And we are going to talk about how we basically now have confirmation that the show is about Tila. So basically, all of the rumors are true. Everything that we have heard about the show is 100% correct. And yeah, it's basically confirmation that Kevin Smith is a fucking liar. Kevin Smith is a liar. He always has been. He always will be. And it's just, it is, it is insane that we are even in this position because this didn't even need to happen. Kevin Smith could have just kept his mouth shut, or he could have just been honest and we wouldn't even be here. But no, he kept going out there. He kept talking about how he was always a big He-Man fan, and he kept dunking on Clownfish TV because they just put out a random tweet talking about how they had an alleged insider come to them and tell them that, this is what they heard that the show was about. And again, Kevin Smith could have just ignored it. Or he could have just responded by saying, hey, so I saw this tweet floating around and I just want to let you know that you don't have anything to worry about. These rumors are not true, okay? Just wanted to let you know that. He could have just done it like that, okay? And most people would have been okay with it. But no, he had to dunk on them. He had to drag their name through the mud. And because of that, a lot of people kept going after them. And then the first trailer dropped that was, He-Man centric. And then I have no doubt that there are a bunch of people who kept going after them saying, hey, look at that, you're wrong. And then the second trailer comes out and it basically says it's all about Tila. And interestingly enough, a lot of those same people kept quiet. Kevin Smith still out there, still trying to pass himself off as a big He-Man fan or whatever, even though it's been proven time after time after time that it is all a lie. He has come out himself and said that he was never a big He-Man fan. We have actual video footage of him admitting that he was never a big He-Man fan, and then we even found tweets basically saying that he was never a He-Man fan, but he is still out there trying to pass off this image that he was always a big He-Man fan. Well, now, guess what? The review embargo has been lifted, and this is from IGN, who got to watch the part 1 of Masters of the Universe Revelation, and this is basically their review. And again, they basically confirm all of the rumors are true. Just focus on this article in particular. Prince Adam and He-Man, voiced by Supergirl's Chris Wood, are important, but they really serve as backdrop in a manner similar to how Max acts as a lesser lead to Furiosa in Mad Max Fury Road. Revelation draws upon the might and majesty of He-Man to facilitate others' arc. Basically, this is Tila's show. In taking this approach, Revelation can act both as a stunning sequel and also a wondrous what-if type spin-off for those viewers unwilling to accept some choices as pure canon. And they even go on to state in bold letters, basically, this is Tila's show. So it turns out the rumors, again, were 100% right. This is Tila's show. They used He-Man to bait the audience into watching the show, and then they were going to pull the bait and switch on them, making them think that this was a He-Man centric show, and it turns out no, this was all about Tila from the beginning. It's basically the same as what happened with The Last of Us Part 2. They put out marketing telling you that this is going to be another adventure with Joel and Ellie. They even completely made up a scene that was never in the game just to trick people into buying the game. They literally made up a scene with Joel and Ellie to make you think that this was going to be another Joel and Ellie adventure, when it turns out that wasn't the case, and then Joel gets killed off 2 hours into the game. That's basically what happened here. And it's not just IGN. Here's The Verge confirming, basically talking about how it's erasing the past. I wonder where we've heard that before. And then we've got Gizmodo going out there talking about how the thing that they talk about the most is this new character of Andra. Let me pause this. I don't know, it's whatever advertisement. This is a character, Lieutenant Andra, who was originally a redhead in the comics. And they completely race swapped her because, of course, they did. Because no redhead is fucking safe in Hollywood. And they just, it just goes to show you, these people never gave a crap about He-Man. We were right the entire time, and Kevin Smith is a fucking liar. Kevin Smith can go fuck himself. Kevin Smith, you motherfucker, you owe Clownfish TV a fucking apology, you piece of shit. And as if that wasn't bad enough, he's still out there lying, and he's still out there trying to cover his ass. Remember this, where he talked about, let's just go back. Let's just go back and watch the man himself admit this. The man himself admitting this.
I have no love for He-Man. I have no love for He-Man either, but he's got a place in the world.
No love for He-Man either. And then, listen to this.
When I was a kid, I'd watch He-Man and Masters of the Universe when I got home from school. From 1981 to 82, it was a ritual.
He talks about how from 1981 to 1982 he would watch the show. It was a ritual. It was a ritual for him, not even knowing that the first episode didn't even come out until 1983. He got the date wrong by about 2 years. So people have been calling him out on this for a while now. So now he goes out there and now he's trying to cover his ass again. Listen to what he says in this clip.
As a stoner at almost age 51, names and dates. Like some cat on the internet was like, you said that you watched this in 1981 and it didn't come out TV until 1983. You're a liar, a liar. And I was like, well, maybe, or perhaps I'm just a 51-year-old man who, for about 25 years of his life, referred to The Empire Strikes Back, one of his favorite films ever made, as a 1979 motion picture, even though, as I found out later on, it came out in 1980. Like, I smoke a lot of weed, kids. Don't crush my nuts if I say 1981 versus 1983, Columbo. There's no proof of fucking anything other than, like, he's old.
So, this motherfucker is now trying to paint the people who called him out for being a liar as being these just bad people who apparently didn't understand that, oh, he's just an old man who smoked a lot of weed when he was a kid. You know what, Kevin Smith? Seriously? Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. You couldn't accept the fact that people called you out on your bullshit, and instead of just being a fucking man and just admitting that you got it wrong, admitting that you lied, you're still gonna keep up with this bullshit. This is why I will always urge someone to never go anywhere near Hollywood, because this is what that place does to you. It turns you into a disingenuous, lying piece of shit. Fuck this guy. So I mentioned Lieutenant Andra a little bit, and this is what I'm going to end this video off of. So Grace Randolph, who got a chance to watch the show, talked about, got a chance to review the show without giving any spoilers. Well, basically it's a non-spoiler review. But you know how one of the rumors was that Tila apparently gets a girlfriend, and then Kevin Smith, of course, came out there and tried to quash those rumors, saying, no, there is no girlfriend. Well, according to what she said, according to what Grace Randolph said, just listen, I'll let the woman herself talk.
And it's also like those movies in some pretty substantial queer baiting. We'll talk about Prince Adam in the spoiler review, but here...
Okay, so before we move on, let's just talk about that for a second. So not only are they apparently doing some queer baiting with Tila and Lieutenant Andra, apparently they're also going to do that with Prince Adam.
Here I want to talk about Tila and Andra, who are pretty clearly, I think, a couple when they're first introduced, in a way that gives Kurosami fans everything they were once promised. I thought that they seemed like a really natural, loving couple when they were first introduced, and that's unusual to see. It's becoming less unusual, thankfully, but for this kind of genre content, it's still relatively new. So at first I was like, oh, cool, that's interesting that they're doing that. But then their connection and Andra herself are suddenly dropped and relegated to the background for like most of the show. Like, I think Andra didn't speak for several episodes, or maybe had 1 or 2 lines, which I thought was really weird. It was a really unfortunate development considering how the recent She-Ra show did LGBT lead characters extraordinarily well. Like, considering that She-Ra already did this so well, why introduce it here only to drop it and look really bad in comparison?
So I just wanted to talk about that for a second. You're free to go watch the whole thing on your own time. But I just wanted to talk about that for a second. So it seems like that is something else that is also confirmed when it comes to the rumors. Now, up until this point, we could only speculate about the whole girlfriend thing because we never saw any, like anything to hint at that in any of the marketing. Although I'm pretty sure none of us would have been surprised when we heard that news that they were going to take Tila, and Tila, a character who was never intended to be gay ever throughout her ever since she was created. In fact, if you do your research, you'll know that before the show got canceled, they always planned to have He-Man and Tila get married, and then eventually they were supposed to have a son. But see here they decided no, let's just say fuck that, and they just decided to make Tila a gay or bi at the very least. And like she said, they basically did what a lot of shows tend to do, is they will always go out there and they'll queer bait. They'll always tease you with a bit of a gay relationship here, but they'll never pull the trigger. Remember Voltron? Remember Voltron when in I think it was one of the panels that they did during a convention or whatever, and they said that they basically confirmed that Shiro, one of the main characters, Shiro, was gay, and that you were actually going to see his relationship with his partner or whatever. And then the actual season came out. I think it was season 7. Correct me if I'm wrong. That where they basically got like one scene with him, and then they immediately killed him off, and people got pissed off. It seems like that's exactly what's going to happen here. Well, maybe not exactly, but according to what she said, they basically make it seem like like they're a couple, but they never 100% confirm it. And then to add salt to the wound, they decide to basically relegate her to basically the background. So in other words, they race swapped her and quite possibly sex swapped her, and it just so they could tease a relationship between these two, but they never pull the trigger. They never do it because these people are fucking cowards. These are the kind of people who will go out there and they'll say that we need more representation, we need more minority representation, we need more queer representation and all that stuff, but they never do it. They'll never do it in a way that actually matters, i.e. making a new show that just so happens to have already established gay characters or gay characters in relationships or whatever. They'll never go out there and do it. They'll take an already established property, take characters that were never that way in the first place, completely change them, and then tease you with, oh, these two are maybe yes, no in a relationship, but they'll never 100% go through with it because these people are full of shit. These are people who say, who you know for a fact the second the show comes out, they're gonna say anyone who criticized this is just someone who never wanted a Tila show, who never wanted Tila to be in a relationship or whatever, and yet you can point out to them that if you wanted a Tila show, why didn't you just say from the beginning that this was a Tila show? Why did you keep going out there and say that this was a He-Man show and that He-Man was going to be the main character because that's what people expected? And then once the show drops and people watch it, they'll find out that He-Man isn't even a main character in his own show. Instead, you tricked us into thinking this was a He-Man centric show, and instead the show is going to be all about Tila. And you could have gone out there and you could have just said the show is going to be centered around Tila and it's going to be telling her story. And I think most people would have been fine because most people actually like Tila as a character. But no, because you do not believe in your own bullshit. That's why I will also always say that whenever someone from Hollywood comes out and says something, never take it at face value. Because these people are literally paid to lie. They are paid to lie. They are paid to pretend to be something that they are not. That is how they make their fucking money. That is how they live. Fucking hell, I don't even know what else to say about this. The show was supposed to drop tomorrow. I don't even know if I'm going to make a review. I don't even know if I have any interest in watching it. We basically already know what's going to happen. So what would be the fucking point? Fucking hell. I don't know. I mean, look, if you guys still want me to watch it, if you still want me to do a review, fine, whatever. But I just... Man, any hype I had for this show is just gone. I remember when this first got announced, And I remember when I found out the studio that was going to be working on the animation, the same studio that made Castlevania, I thought, holy shit, this was going to look amazing and it's probably going to have a good story to back it up. But the more we started to find out about this, it just killed any enthusiasm I ever had for this show. At this point, I just fuck the show, fuck the people behind it, and especially a big fuck you to Kevin Smith. Alright, I'm just gonna end this video right here, guys. You know what to do. Comments, like, whatever. I'll see you guys soon.